overheads. It's a very lengthy chapter. A lot of issues are there. First is definition and classification of overheads, as we have written in the hard copy. Just now we have discussed in the cost sheet, overhead is an indirect cost. It is the total of indirect materials, indirect labor and indirect expense. It is an item of cost which is necessary for the purposes of manufacture, but cannot be identified with the final product. This is the definition of overheads. Now, we have classified them in our cost sheet. Again, we are coming to this. One is we can classify the overheads according to elements, according to function, and on the basis of the variability. On the basis of the variability, changing with the production. So, first is, let us take element-wise classification. In the element-wise classification, it is indirect materials, indirect labor, and indirect expense. This is called as element-wise classification. What are the examples? Indirect material means, actually you should understand one word, what is an overhead? Anything expenditure incurred in maintenance of the machine. The machine is there to produce goods. You put raw material, leather into the machine, it will convert it into finished goods. You put milk and other ingredients, then you will get ice cream. So the machine is there which converts raw material into finished goods. You need power to operate the machine, it is an overhead. You need a supervisor to take care of this machine, maintain the machine. When the machine gets heated up, you have to cool the machine, you need use lubricants. Spare parts are to be replaced. So all these things which are expenses incurred in maintaining the machine is overhead. So be very clear on that. Now, so indirect material means what? This is grease used or spares used. Suppose you take a garment shop where the tailoring machine is going on needle, so needle breaks. It's a consumable stores. And in a leather, you cut scissors, then after some time it will be worn out. The blade, hacksaw blade you use. So they are called as indirect materials. Then you have indirect labor. Indirect labor, see, wages paid for operator is a direct wage. But wages paid to maintain the machine. A repair, there is some repair, you call the worker to repair it. That is indirect wages. Wages paid to supervisor is indirect wage. Then factory rent, depreciation. So we repeat that all the expenditure incurred in maintaining the machine is a overhead. So what are the examples I have given? So that is called as element-wise classification. So I repeat, element-wise classification includes indirect materials, indirect labor, indirect expense. Next is functional classification. In the previous chapter we have discussed it in detail, but we are just referring to that as manufacturing overheads. The indirect expenses incurred in the conversion of raw material to finished goods. Then administration overheads. The indirect expenses incurred in the coordination of all other functions. Then we have seen selling expenses which is incurred in promoting your product, advertisement, making the product known to the customer. Then distribution expenditure, overheads. This is the indirect expenditure incurred in reaching the customer. And now we have to discuss this most important thing. In various overheads, this topic is so important because in arriving at the cost, the charging of overheads is the problem. Therefore, we have to understand that in relation to production, the expenditure, the overheads incurred, behave in a different manner. You take a machine, as I told you, all the expenditure relating to a machine is an overhead. Suppose you take this example of a machine. which can produce say 10,000 units. I am identifying three types of expenditure. One, power. Power used to run this machine. For 1,000 units, it is 5,000. For 2,000 units, it is 10,000. For 3,000 units, it is 15,000. So this is called as variable overheads. Please note that it's not the name that will determine it is variable or fixed. It is the behavior with the level of production. And simply, if the cost per unit is same, it is called as variable overhead. So another second one is you take the machine depreciation, where the depreciation is charged on time basis. Cost of the machine minus scrap value divided by useful life in years. Then depreciation is a fixed cost. Rent paid, it is fixed cost. 1,000 units, 10,000. 2,000 units, 20,000. 10,000. 3,000 units, 10,000. It's the same. So fixed overheads, total overheads will be same at different levels of production. Variable overheads per unit is same at different levels of production. Semi-variable overheads, as already discussed earlier, is a combination of both variable and fixed elements. The fixed portion remains constant throughout the activity, whereas the variable portion only changes with the activity. Carefully listen to me. In this example that we have put before you, you have units 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 6. You find power is 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 60. That means 10 rupees per unit. So power is called as variable cost because the per unit cost is same. Rent of this is 10, 10, 10 at all levels. It is called fixed cost because the total cost remains the same. Repairs and maintenance, even if you don't use the machine, you need to do some repairs. But as the usage goes on, the repairs also will increase. You notice that at 1,000 units, it is 10,000. At 2,000 units, it is 15,000. So there is an increase of 5,000 rupees for 1,000 units. Now 2,000 to 3,000, again 5,000 is increasing. So 4,000 to 6,000, 10,000 is increasing. So therefore, the variable, semi-variable cost is a combination of variable and fixed elements, and the fixed portion remains constant throughout. Variable portion only changes. This is a very important thing. And this formula you must remember: change in cost divided by change in activity. The activity can either be given in units, the activity can be given in hours, the activity can be in percentage. That point should be kept in mind, which we have taken up for discussion. That is the first step. So the behavior also we have represented it in graph, and you find that total variable cost is going with level of production, diagram A, and total cost is starting from above the fixed cost, and we will discuss them in detail. But before that, I have explained how to segregate the semi-variable cost into variable and fixed elements. Please go through that issue. Now, some more examples I would like to give you, because as I told you, it is the name, power. Is it variable cost if anybody asks? We cannot say it is variable. We cannot say fixed. We cannot also say semi-variable. Similarly, depreciation can be variable or fixed or semi-variable. Let me give you an example. Power. For example, your air conditioner is going on. So for every 1 unit, 1 hour, 1 unit of current is consumed in case of 1 ton electricity, 1 ton air conditioner. So this is a variable cost, because if I am teaching for 1 hour, the air conditioner also goes for 1 hour. This is variable. So per unit is same. Second scenario, you take a furnace. You take a furnace. In the furnace, what happens is, it's a capacity of to melt, say 10 tons of iron. So even you melt 1 ton, you put or 10 tons full capacity, the power cost is same, because you have to melt iron at say 2000 degrees centigrade. So the furnace would have gone to 2000 degrees centigrade and only you will put the iron out. So here power is a fixed cost. So therefore we have to see how the cost is behaving in relation to the levels of activity. Now we all know in a power consumption we are paying rent, power charges, electricity charges, they are on slabs. Up to one level so much, above another level that is so much. So that is a step fixed cost will come in, which I am going to explain. Now depreciation also, I said it is going to be normally depreciation has 2 elements. One portion is a fixed portion, that is the value of the asset falls by virtue of passage of time. This is called fixed. Whereas based on usage, then the asset will be depreciated more. Therefore, in strict sense, depreciation is a semi-variable cost. But in a problem, if depreciation is normally calculated, as you all know, cost minus scrap value divided by life in years. Suppose if the life is given in years, it is time, so it's fixed. But if the life is given in hours, then it is variable. So therefore, students must be very clear on the concept. Now, what is this step fixed cost or step variable cost as it is? I'll give you some other examples. At different marginal costing we are going to use it. But here, since the topic starts, I try to explain you. Say for example, you are appointing a supervisor to conduct an exam. There are 3 hours exam. For one supervisor, I have to pay, let us say, 1000 rupees. And he will supervise 100 students. Suppose if 100 students are sitting in the class writing the exam, the supervisory charge will be 1000 rupees by 100, 10 rupees per student. So that means it is variable cost. Suppose only 50 students write the exam, how much you will pay? Still you have to pay that 1000 rupees. That means it is a fixed cost. So it cannot be separated into variable and fixed elements. Therefore it is called a step fixed cost. So this will be discussed elsewhere in detail. But you can think that the overheads can be segregated in relation to the level of activity into one variable overheads, 2 fixed overheads, semi-variable overheads, step fixed or step variable overheads. Now, first topic we are now going to take up for discussion is we have now explained definition and classification of overheads, and the classification is done in 3 parts: element wise classification, indirect materials, indirect labor and indirect expense; functional classification, manufacturing overheads, administration overheads, selling and distribution overheads; and element variability. Variability means in relation to its behavior with the level of production into variable overheads, fixed overheads and semi-variable or semi-fixed overheads, step fixed overheads, all that we have seen. Now, the most important thing, as we have been talking in the initial stages, is the cost assignment. How do we go about this cost assignment? What is the cost? We already discussed. Cost of a job, cost of a product, any work comprises of prime cost, materials, labor, direct expense, direct material, direct labor, direct expense, prime cost. That can be identified correctly. Estimation also is very simple, no problem. But then overheads, how do you charge the overheads? Overheads are the real pain, so many expenditure incurred. Because all the expenditure incurred should be related to the units produced. or services rendered. So, in this is the discussion which is called as allocation and apportionment. When you want to arrive at a sales value of a job, what are the steps involved and why? First is, in the problem they will give you the material cost, labor cost, that is direct cost will be given. First, manufacturing overheads we have to absorb on some predetermined basis. For this particular job, per hour of machine working, how much should we charge? Next is, administration and selling overheads will be charged on a percentage basis, as we saw it in quotations. You arrive at the total cost, then you add the profit, you get the sales value of job. We also have discussed in the earlier thing is, in the cost accumulation process, we have one is called cost center, and we have, please refer to our discussion there. Now, so far as the discussion of this chapter is concerned, cost center can be a department, that is what I have said. And we also have seen that departments are cost centers which can be segregated into production departments and service departments. Production department's nature is it generates revenue, whereas service department generates no revenue. They are meant to serve the production departments. So now, let us take what is cost allocation, overhead allocation and apportionment. Let us be clear. Now I have three production departments, P1, P2, P3, and I have two service departments, S1 and S2. This is the company. So all are cost centers. Therefore, I have to first step is allocate the overheads. What do you mean by allocation? Rent. 5 departments are there. I have taken 10,000 square feet, and all the departments are equally spaced, and I am paying a rent of 50,000. So, on the basis of area occupied, I will charge 5 departments 50,000. Area is equal, so 10,000 per area. So the rent is charged on what you charge is called as allocation. So here allocation refers to charging of overheads to all the departments on some agreed basis. Now let us see in this examples. We have put 2 columns, overheads, particulars, and then basis of allocation. Rent. Rent is allocated on the basis of area. Heat and lighting. The number of light points. For example, heat means it is in a cold place. You will have heaters, and generally in a country like ours is a hot country. We are talking about lighting means you have 1,000 square foot. You cannot have one bulb. So as the area increases, you need to have that much of bulbs, light points. So light points is the basis. If light points are not given, you can take the area. Then power. Power is based on horsepower. For example, 1 ton air conditioner is there. For every 1 unit, 1 hour, it will consume 1 unit current. So therefore, horsepower is the basis on which we can allocate it. Insurance naturally on the value of assets. Depreciation also on the basis of value of assets. Canteen is on the basis of number of employees. And time office is also on the basis of number of employees. Indirect wages, normally you have to apply on the basis of direct wages or even machine hours worked. Factory overheads on the basis, other factory overheads, miscellaneous on the basis of direct wages. Now we may give you variable overheads. Variable overheads will depend on actual production. Budgeted or fixed overheads on the other hand will depend on budgeted production. Any other thing we will apply common sense as we go on. So we have seen just now till now what is allocation. First is we have to identify the cost centers into departments. 2. Segregate the departments into production departments and service departments. How a production department generates revenue. We have seen in tablets, ointments, liquids, they are all production departments. Service departments, boiler house, pump room, all these things. The next is overheads identification and allocating the overheads to all the departments. So allocation refers to charging of overheads to all the departments on some agreed basis. On some agreed basis as explained. Okay. Now we have allocated overheads to production departments and also to service departments. Service departments overheads must again go back to production departments because the total cost can be recovered only through the products sold. So therefore, apportionment is coming into the picture. What is apportionment? Apportionment refers to a reallocation of service department overheads to production departments. That is called as apportionment. Allocation, they have gone through some agreed basis, rational basis. But in case of apportionment, there are several methods are there, depending on the situation, number of departments, and the type of services that are being rendered. So, first is called as direct distribution method. 2. Step ladder method. 3. Simultaneous or algebraic method. 4. Repeated distribution method. There are 4 methods. So we are now going to understand one by one method. What is this exact problems? All that I am going to explain. So the cost of a job comprises of prime cost, allocated overheads, apportioned overheads. So you get the total manufacturing cost. So in this problem number 3, I have tried to give you, you have to understand this segregation of variable overheads, fixed overheads, semi-variable overheads at different capacity levels. So this is an important point, and you can see that cost, first step you have to do is take 2 levels of production and divide it by production, calculate the cost per unit. If cost per unit is same, variable. If total cost is same, fixed. If both are changing, it's semi-variable. Semi-variable means you apply the change in cost by change in formula and do the problem. That is the clear explanation is written up, you can easily understand. Now, we are now taking up a problem to explain this allocation, apportionment, all that issues. And this is the problem. Self-Help Limited has generating sets and produces power. Data for power costs are given. Their budgeted hours, actual hours worked. He has given you 2 departments of production and 2 service departments. He says during a particular month, total overheads are 9,300. Of this, 2,500 was fixed. That means balance is variable. Service department X renders service to ABY in the ratio of 13:6:1, whereas Y renders service to A and B in the ratio of 31:3. So what you notice in this problem is X is serving Y, but Y is not serving X. In other words, there is no inter-service. Only one department is serving the other. S1 is serving S2, but S2 is not serving S1. Then you should apply this method, direct distribution method. So first question, what is direct distribution method, when it should be applied? Direct distribution method is a method of apportioning the overheads of service departments to production departments. It is a method of apportionment used for transferring the overheads of service departments to production department. When will you apply this method? Only when there are two service departments and there should not be any inter-service. These are the preconditions. We find this. So now the first step we have to put is step 1 is allocation of overheads. Here we are given two types of overheads, fixed overheads that should be allocated in the ratio of the budgeted production, budgeted hours. Then variable overhead should be allocated in the ratio of actual hours. That's all. So that first step you are clear that allocation has taken place in the ratio of 8:13:7:6 for variable. Fixed is this given. Okay. Next step, apportionment. That also they are given. X should be, X is 2000. So the overhead charge to X is 2000. That should be transferred to A, B and Y in the ratio of 13:6:1 and therefore 1300, 600, 100. Why? Only to production departments. Now what is the value of Y? 1600 plus 100, so 1700. That should be transferred in the ratio of 31:3. So now we have got total overheads of the production departments. There are only two production departments and all the overheads are gone to A and B. Here friends, you must check up. In all the problems of allocation and apportionment, the student must check up what is that. A plus B plus X plus Y. A plus B plus X plus Y should be equal to A plus B after apportionment. So you can see 9300 and the same 9300 should come. So students, even they go wrong in calculations, they can come out verified. So next step is, we have got the overheads of production department came to the production, allocated and apportioned overheads. So working hours, you divide it by the working hours given. So that is called as predetermined recovery rate. For division A, 3 rupees, department A, and department B, it is 2 rupees has come. So therefore, we have to charge 3 and 2. What is this predetermined recovery rate? It means, suppose you have got a job which requires 10 hours of A and 20 hours of B. Then naturally, what is the charge? The charge is overheads. So the overheads which are captured, we will charge at the rate of 3 rupees per hour for A, 2 rupees per hour for B. And this is the next step. That is called as predetermined recovery rate. Now we have seen that job requires 2000 rupees materials, labor 3000 it says. Requires 100 hours of A and 200 hours of B. So you get the factory cost. Now suppose the profit is 20% of the cost you had, then you get the sales value. That is how we are going to tackle the problems. This is, I have also given you 3 problems so that students can try and verify the answers. So the steps involved are step 1 allocation, step 2 apportionment, step 3 verification, step 4 the predetermined recovery rate, step 5 is ascertainment of the sales value of the job. In that first step, identification of service departments and production departments, and then what method we have to apply. That's going to be very important. So let us take up the next discussion on, if you have more than 2 service departments without inter-service, that means one department serves the other, that's all. A serves B, C, D, B serves C, D, C serves D. In that scenario only we have to apply step ladder method. So the difference is direct distribution only 2, step ladder is more than 2. So let us discuss, go through this problem. This is the only 2 problems have come so far in these exams. So step ladder method is the Deccan Manufacturing Limited. That is what we are going to talk now. Hello, So we are going to take up discussion on the step ladder method. in this method, as I already explained to you, there will be more than 2 service departments, and there is no inter-service. This is the feature. In this problem that you have gone through, you have 4 service departments, PQRS, and the XYZ is the production department. So, first step is, when you are preparing the statement, they would have given you the order also, P, Q or S, in that order, X, Y, Z, this side. So the total overheads allocated will be given. So allocation job is over in this, and we have to first start with department P. Department P overheads allocated are 45,000, and this has to go to Q or S, X, Y, Z, and the basis given is number of employees. So that means department P should have been some canteen, because only in canteen or staff welfare expenses they will recover it on the basis of number of employees. So we have, refer to the working note, you will have that in the working note that 45,000 and 450 employees. So 100 rupees per employee. So we have charged 5,000, 4, 5, 10, 12, 5 now. Now what is the overheads of Q? That is the point. The overheads of Q is 75,000 plus 5,000 share of P. So totally 80,000. So now that 80,000 has to go to R, S, X, Y and Z, and that is in the ratio of direct labor hours. So direct labor hours must start from R. What is the direct labor hours for R? That is given as 6,000. 3,000 for S, X, Y, Z 434. That is the basis. So students must go through the problem, worked out detailedly. So first step 1 is, when will you apply the step ladder method? When there are more than 2 service departments but there is no inter-service, then only we will apply this. Okay. The next thing is the order P, Q, R, S, X, Y, Z, overheads allocated are given. Then overheads of P is based on number of employees. It starts from Q only. Once P goes, it will not come back. Then what is Q? Q is the overheads of Q plus a portion of P. Like that we have to proceed. Then we always have that cross check. That is, the total overheads 5,95,000 must be equal to overheads allocated to, apportioned to X, Y, Z. That is what you can verify, 5,95,000. That's all. So after this allocation and apportionment over, as a result of the apportionment, all the overheads will get spread to the production departments, and it is in the production department that you recover, because you are selling goods or services rendered. So we find the second step will be preparation of computation of overhead recovery rate. For department X, overheads allocated and apportioned are 3 lakhs, 4,000 hours, and therefore it is 75. Same manner, Z, Y 45, this is 40. So this is step later. So we are now going to the next method, is algebraic method or simultaneous equations method. This also a number of problems will be there in a combination. Even in the latest exams, about 3 sessions back, it was asked. So accurate doing is very important, we must practice. And this is very important to BCom students. This particular topic is more focused to the BCom level. So let's go through that problem number, a boiler house and pump room. A factory is having 3 production departments, A, B and C, 2 service departments, boiler house and pump room. The boiler house has to depend on our pump room, and pump room has to depend on boiler house. So that is called inter-service. If you read the problem, the expenses of boiler house is charged to A, B, C and pump room 20%, 40%, 30%, 10%. So similarly, expenses of pump room also is given 40, 20, 20, 20, 100 totally. How to solve this equation? As the same steps, but in this problem, what is the value of boiler house? Boiler house is given as 2,34,000 is allocated expenses of boiler house. But a portion of pump room also is coming. Therefore, please see below boiler house 20%. So boiler house is equal to 2,34,000 plus 20% of pump room. In the exam, you have to frame the equation. If it is same proportion, no problem. But if it gives different proportions like this problem 20 and 10, then you will get into jam. So code is boiler house. Below that, what is there? Look at it. At what you take it. So therefore, boiler house is equal to 2,34,000 and 20% of pump room. Similarly, pump room is equal to 3 lakhs plus 10% of boiler house. So therefore, below pump room you see, you get it. Now we have to solve the simultaneous equations. Therefore, boiler house is equal to 2,34,000 plus 20% of pump room. Pump room you substituted 3 lakhs plus 10% of boiler house. So then when you solve it, you will get pump room is equal to 3,30,000, boiler house is equal to 3 lakhs. So first step 1, find out the value of boiler house and pump room. The value of boiler house is not 2,30,000, 4,000. It is plus a portion of pump room. Similarly, this pump room is not just 3 lakhs, it is a portion of boiler house also. And now we have done the first step. Careful. It's a simple step. In the second step, whatever is the value found for the boiler house, we have to allocate it to A, B and C. 20, 40, 30. The total is not 100. Remember friends, it's not a ratio. So 20% of 3 lakhs is equal to 60,000. Then 20% of 3 lakhs is 1 lakh 60. 40% is 1 lakh 20. 30% is 90. So now boiler house is already charged, and therefore the same manner you have to do for the pump room also. So let us, it is better to represent that statement and then verify the total of A plus B plus C and boiler house and pump room should be equal to 25,34,000 after apportionment. This is the main thing in the problem. Okay. So first step is, when will you apply this algebraic method, which is also known as simultaneous equations method? When there are only 2 service departments and also there is a inter-service. Point number 2, how to solve it? The value of boiler house is its cost given plus a portion of pump room, and same pump room is a portion of boiler house. So frame the equations, solve the equation. Next step is, whatever is the figure allocated, transfer it to this. Hello? Whatever is the figure given, you should transfer it to these production departments, and then at the end we must verify the same. So we will go, this repeated distribution method is a method where same is applied in the case of simultaneous equations method. So repeatedly you go on to till such time the value of boiler house and pump room come to negligible amount. This is not as advised because it will take too much of time in exam. Okay. So now we have discussed this first part. In this first part, we talked about definition and classification of overheads. Second part we have come. We have discussed this allocation and apportionment of overheads. And in apportionment we have seen 4 methods. And we have given similar problems, comprehensive problems with clarity and clear explanation. Now we start with this problem. In this in this problem we have a full working starting from allocation, apportionment and machine hour rate and all that. What you have to do in this problem is all the overheads, they may say direct material, direct labor. You don't take in overhead distribution, direct cost should not be considered. But direct material used in service department, direct labor used in service department must be treated as a indirect cost. That is the most important thing. So allocate that rent on the basis of area, all that, and then finally you will end up with the total. Then apply the apportionment, then find out the recovery rate as already explained. So I have given a lot of problems for you to practice, and answers also are put before you. So basic concept has been detailedly explained, and using this concept you should be in a position to apply them.